Hello, Fuse Nation. My name is Alex Fuse, the host of Fusion News. Today is May 10th, 2017, and it's a little chilly here in upstate New York for May, but hey, it's still baseball season, and we have a big show planned out for you right now. I am on Google Hangouts on YouTube Live with three LaSalle baseball players, Kyle Borey, James Rubino, and Carson Stewart, all LaSalle baseball players. So I want to welcome you guys on my show tonight. Kyle, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you, Alex?
Good, I'm good. James, how are you doing?
I'm great, Alex. How are you?
Good. And Carson, the winner of the early MVP season on my Twitter poll this year. Carson Stewart, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Alex. How are you?
Good. So, of course, Shelmont, I am the Shelmont team manager, and, Shelmont played LaSalle two times this season, and both of those games went your way, but I'm ready to just go out there next year and see, maybe something change. But we'll see what happens next season with that. And I just want to say congratulations on a good season so far. And, what's the season been like for you, Kyle? We'll start off with you.
I didn't play last year, so coming back and being back with the boys has been a really good time and a fun experience for me. And just being back with the whole team and being back in the sport I grew up with. I'm glad I made the choice to play again this year, and obviously we're pretty. So I'm glad I made the choice to play again this year.
Yeah, definitely. James, what about you? What's really the highlight of this season for you so far?
I'd say the highlight would there's been a lot of ups and downs, obviously. The highlights would probably beat Albany Academy at the Joe. So that was definitely a great win. But we also came back from Rubino a couple weeks ago in a big game there. So I'd say that's right now.
Okay. And Carson, what about you? What's really been your highlight coming back from Tommy John surgery this season? And, what's really been a highlight for you for this baseball season?
Well, I just love playing baseball, to be honest. And the fact that I had to miss, a fall season and I'm trying to recover just to get back for the season, it was really tough, but I was just happy to be playing and be back. I didn't know I was able to, but the fact that I worked hard and was able to make it back, it just felt great to be out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And we just talked about your highlights, but I had to ask you guys this question: if you could play one game over, go back in time a little bit and play one game over, what game would that be and why? We'll start off with James for this one.
I want to say, believe it or not, the game yesterday against Albany Academy, we were up 3-0 in the sixth inning, and we were up. And we had a lead, a couple errors going around, had down to one strike, up 1 run, 3-2, and just couldn't put it away, unfortunately. So definitely would love to have that one back.
Kyle, what about you? One game that you wish you could replay over and just play another game and go back in time a little bit and just play another game?
I got to say Saratoga, first game of the year, first game outside, and obviously we never had any practice outside. We were all indoors before that. So I would say Saratoga, because I feel like if we went back and we played that game the way we've been playing lately, I think it would be a lot better on our side than the score indicated.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Carson, what about you? One game that you could replay over for this season?
I'd probably have to go back to our first game against Ichabod, where we were playing for first place in the Colonial, and our whole team just in general didn't take very good approaches at the plate, and we just weren't playing with confidence. We were scared at the plate. We were scared out in the field. I believe if we played again with some more confidence, it'd be a much different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And, this season has been very different for you guys and for us, especially losing Chris Hamilton. But, what's really the best advice someone has given you, like a team leader on this team, that you just look back on and rethink, that really has changed the way you play the game? We'll start off with Carson for this one. Best advice ever received?
Best advice I have, that baseball is 90% mental, and all you ever really need to do is play with confidence, because, baseball is a game of failure, and you're gonna fail a lot, and it can get you down, especially when you're in a slump or you're just not doing well. It's a game that can really beat up on you. Mm-hmm. So the important thing is just to play with confidence. You play with confidence, you have a much better chance of succeeding, and that's the best advice I've ever gotten.
James, what about you? Best advice you ever received in the game of baseball?
Yeah, definitely. It would have to be always keep on working because there's always someone out there working as hard or harder than you. So it's definitely important every day, to keep getting better.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, Kyle, what about you? Best advice you ever received?
For me, like Carson said, you got to be used to failure to play the sport of baseball. And the best advice I've probably from James, honestly, at the beginning of the year. When I told him I was going to come back and play again this year. He told me he was happy I was going to come back and told me just have fun with it. And through the year, I've realized that if I do just have fun with it and don't put pressure on myself, that I'll have better. But I'm too hard on myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And the next question here is New York State, the Baseball Association for high school baseball, implementing this new rule over the offseason, saying there's a new pitch count rule. And I have to ask you, James, has this rule affected you as a pitcher, and do you like the rule? And if you don't like the rule, if you can make one change for the future pitchers of the 518 and New York baseball players in high school, what changes would you make to maybe help the rule or make it a little different?
Right. Definitely a couple instances where it's coming into effect. Like about a game I had, I want to say 104, 105, and obviously I couldn't do that. Definitely came into effect. But I think it's a good thing for the B. But one thing I would change, if I could change it, would definitely be the day's rest is kind of mixed up as far as if you throw on Monday and that night rest. So usually in any other type of day's rest thing, it would have to be the day after would be the first night. I really think that it should be a little bit kind of spread out a little bit more.
Do you guys have any other comments, Carson and Kyle, about this rule?
Carson,
you want to go?
I'm sure that they were just thinking in the case of all the players and just taking care of arms. Of course, I was affected and I hurt my arm pitching in a game. The rule wouldn't have changed what happened to me, but I think they were just looking out for all the injuries and they just want to prevent them because they want us to play baseball. So I'd say it wasn't.
Yeah, definitely. And Kyle, what about you?
I agree with Carson. I think it's good that they're looking out for the arms of our pitchers. Too many kids, get arm injuries that can ruin their career. But as a hitter, it does get kind of frustrating sometimes. Pitcher gets me out or bat against him because he has to be pulled because the pitcher. But it is what it is, and I think it's a good rule.
Yeah, for sure. And before we move on, the next question here is most embarrassing moment of one of your teammates on here or off the show tonight. And one of your teammates' most embarrassing moment in the past 2 seasons. We'll start off with Carson for this one.
My most embarrassing moment would definitely be earlier in the season. I had a whole inning at first base where just everything went wrong. It started off with a routine ground ball to shortstop. I was going to go cover first base and just tripped over my own feet and base planted. So it started with that. And then after James had made a nice play and fielded a ground ball back to him, he went to flip it to me and I dropped that ball too. And I caught a pop-up to end the inning, but I literally almost tripped with catching the pop-up. The whole inning was just a mess, and even my assistant coaches were kind of messing around with me. So that was definitely the most embarrassing for me.
James, what about you? Most embarrassing moment?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was last year during summer ball. I had just get out, and I thought 3 outs, so I started running off the field. Got to about the one baseline, and turn around and no one's with me. They're all still out in the field. I was like, oh, 2 outs. So that was embarrassing.
Kyle, what about you? Most embarrassing moment this season for you?
This season, probably the first time I saw a curveball late this year. I swung and missed pretty badly and almost spun out of my cleats. So that was pretty embarrassing for me, to be honest with you.
Now, you guys have one of the most experienced head coaches there on the baseball field. And what is it like, working with your coach every day? We'll start off with James for this one.
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. I've New York State Baseball Hall of Fame, and he's been coaching, since he's born, almost seems 7 years or so. But yeah, he's definitely a great guy. He knows the game more than anyone I know. One of the best coaches I've ever had an opportunity of being coached by. He just knows so well, and obviously being a pitcher too, he's got a lot of pointers he can see that most coaches don't know or don't think of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Carson, what about you? What's it like working with your coach?
He's just got a lot of experience, and he has some of the best advice I've ever gotten from any coaches in general. He's just been around the game longer than anybody else, so if he knows if there's anything he's gonna know, he's gonna know it. He's seen it all, basically. There's not much you can't see in the amount of time he's coached, so I'm just glad that I got to play under a coach with such great experience.
And lastly, Kyle, what about you? What's the best advice that your coach has given you, and what's it like working for him and playing for him?
It's great to have a coach like Coach Braverman with so much experience. Who knows the game, who's been around for so long. He's a player's coach. He's the kind of coach where he wants what's best for not only on the field, but also it's great that we can have such a great connection and trust with our coach, obviously not only on the field, but off the field, and that we can trust him with everything.
Mm-hmm. And whenever Sean plays with Sal, I think it's always the best when I see your guys' coach with a Scully on. It's so funny, and to see him, he just loves the game, and that's really one of my favorite moments about whenever Sean plays with Sal. I get to see, your guys' coach, and I love that Scully.
Yeah.
And well, before we wrap up this show, I have to ask you guys this one: if you could play one baseball game with anyone, whether it be a Major League Baseball player or a former graduate from LaSalle, who would it be and why? We'll start off with Carson for this one.
Well, my hero from since I was young is 100% Derek Jeter. He's just the definition of class, and he would probably be the best mentor anybody I could have on the field with me. So if I ever got the chance to play with him, it'd just be an absolute honor. Love that more than anything.
Kyle, what about you? A player that you would love to play a baseball game with?
Player I'd love to play with, probably growing up, being a Mets fan, I was a huge David Wright fan. So getting to pick his brain on a couple things about the game and being able to play with him, I think that would be an experience of a lifetime.
And I'm sorry, Kyle, that, growing up you're a Mets fan, but, it's all good. And they have more injuries than wins right now.
Yeah, I know. It's bad.
What's the deal with Matt Harvey? That's for another show at another time, right?
Right.
And James, what about you? A baseball player that you would love to play one game with?
Yeah, I would have to say David Roseboom. He graduated from LaSalle, I think 2010. Left-handed pitcher, really good. It's one of the reasons why I went to LaSalle, and it is the reason why I wear number 12. And after that, out of high school, then I went to South Carolina upstate, played 40 years there, and got drafted by the Mets a couple years ago, and that was actually the AAA closer for them. So it's definitely a person I look up to. I want to imitate my game after.
Yeah, definitely. And as we wrap up this Fusion News episode, I have to ask you this question. If, LaSalle has a very good team, and according to OG Corey listening, you guys are Wolves over there. And we'll have him on tomorrow night with Derek Becker, Brett Young, and Matt Fro. So that's going to be a very entertaining show. And I don't want to get attacked by Wolves. I got to protect myself. But if you guys want to make a very deep run into sectionals this season, what is the main thing that this team needs to do to go far and maybe make it to the States? We'll start off with James for this one.
Yeah, I would have to say good pitching and defense, and you got to do the little things right. We've had a couple games this year where we just lost a couple games, and it was just the little things that cost us. And obviously sectionals is, winning you're out. So we definitely got to do the little things right, and I think if we do that, then we could definitely make a big push into sectionals.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And Kyle, what about you? What's the main goal for this team to really go far in the sectionals this season?
To go far in sectionals, I think we have to come together more than we already are, and really play as brothers and want what's best for each other, and to see each other succeed and support each other, pick each other up when we're down. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what this team has in the tank left for sectionals and closing out this fun of a ride.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And to end the show, Carson, what about you? Main goal for this team to go very far into sectionals. What do you think this team needs to do?
I truly believe that we have the talent to compete with anybody. We just need to stay together and stay as one as a team. We gotta learn how to play down. When we're down in a game, we might sometimes, lose confidence in our game or lose confidence in the chance of winning. But we just gotta know that we're always in the game. We always got a chance to win. With the talent we got, teammates, and chemistry that we do have, we can always win a game.
Yeah, definitely. And to end up this show, I want to say thank you guys for taking the time to come on my show tonight before a big game tomorrow. Do you guys play Ichabod tomorrow? Is that right?
Right, we do.
Yeah, and Ichabod, they're undefeated this year. They just defeated Albany Academy today. They have a very good team, so it's going to be a good game for you guys tomorrow. I wish you the best of luck. And before we wrap up this show, where can the fans follow you guys on Twitter? Kyle, we'll start off with you.
On Twitter, it's at Borey Kyle. Instagram, Kyle Borey 10. Quick shout out to Corey Listening, best barber in the 518.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's right. I got to go there sometime, and maybe they'll have the wolves in the basement somewhere, so I gotta watch out. I can't wait for the show tomorrow night. I'm getting ready now. You should really change it to OJ Corey Listening after that mistake. Oh well. James, what about you? Where can the fans follow you guys on Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter, _Rubino 24, and Instagram, it's James Rubino 24. I want to give a shout out to my boy Scanny, best hockey player in Section 2.
Okay. And finally, Carson, where can the fans follow you on Twitter and just follow along with you the rest of the season?
Twitter, it's at Carson2, and Instagram is at Carson Stewart 2. And I don't have any. I just don't have a shout out. So.
Okay, thank you again, guys, for coming on my show tonight, and be sure to join me tomorrow night with Corey Listening, OG Corey Listening. I think you should really change that. Derek Becker, who really hates LaSalle now after that tweet. Matt Farrell, and of course, Brett Young. It's going to be a big show tomorrow night, 1 year anniversary. Last year, I had all 4 of those guys on my show, 1 year anniversary tomorrow night. Big show tomorrow night. Thank you again, Fuse Nation, for tuning in. We had 105 people watching live. 3 nights in a row. We'll make it 4 tomorrow night. Thank you, Fuse Nation, for watching. Be kind to one another, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.